Hi, I'm Sydney, and today I'm going to be talking about scary stories to tell in the dark. Warning, this video does have spoilers, so if you want, go check out my spoiler-free review. Link is in the description below. So to get straight to it, I think they did an incredible job at translating the iconic images from the book into reality. I'm very attracted to and have so much respect for practical effects in movies, especially in horror films. Spectral Motion, who brought these monsters to life, did a really beautiful job with very refined detail. My problem was that it just felt like 2 of the 3 monsters were shown for just such a short amount of time for how cool they were. Which brings me to the main issue that I had with the film, is that there's not enough of the original content from the book in the film. And there's so much rich, disturbing content that they could have chosen from. In the first original book alone, there's 29 different stories, and so for them to only use 4 of them in an hour and a 47-minute movie, that's just like disappointing. But I do have to say, the times that they did utilize that content, it was translated so well onto film. But the rest of the plot just felt like a really unnecessary stretch to attempt to connect those different stories together. I think that this film could have worked as an anthology way better, particularly because they used the title of the book as the title of the film as well, and then the film is like 85% original unrelated content from the book. It's just a little bit and then it's centered around solving the mystery of Sarah Bellows and why she's writing these deadly stories, not related to the original book at all.
Sarah Bellows' book, where the stories write themselves and it all comes alive.
This film does rely on some horror tropes. Like, there's pretty typical jump scares. It also does have a pretty typical blueprint formula for like a mystery ghost-driven horror film, in the likes of like The Ring and The Grudge, where there's this whole bit on them doing the research on this mysterious girl and family history sort of deal. Also, kind of similar to The Ring, I noticed there's this question of innocence regarding this child, Sarah. Is she evil, or is she actually just the victim of the circumstances she's in that's morphed her into a monster? It's kind of like a similar shtick. This film also kind of follows the outline of many kid-centric movies as well, with them being like victims of bullying and kind of nerdy group of kids. You know how those go. And also with that outline, there's like the really dumb adults who just seem to be oblivious to everything and don't believe the kids. Particularly with Stella's dad, he really bothered me. And I love him in Breaking Bad too, so that's kind of a bummer. But she calls him and she says that she thinks, "I think I'm gonna die." And he goes into this whole Goodwill Hunting moment.
It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault. I know. No, you don't.
About why her mom had left, and I'm just like, your daughter just said she's gonna die and you're not even asking like, where are you? I'd be freaking out. And he's just like. Then there's also the Billy from Ally McBeal sheriff character, and he doesn't believe the kids about the monsters of the book, but then when he sees finally the Jangle Man come down, he like shoots it, and then it's still kind of morphing together, and he's just standing there staring at it. It's like, you just let yourself get killed. Like, he didn't even react. I understand, like, you never know what someone's gonna do when they're in shock like that, but it's like, well, no, he was fighting back and then he just kind of stood there. That was so dumb to me. Aside from those movie tropes though, I think that this film was very nuanced in its details, which I liked, and I would watch this movie again actually for the visuals alone. Like, a weird little example that I liked is there is a moment when Stella picks something up and there's this close-up of the hand there, and her hand kind of looks like maybe a teenager's hand would, or my hand, I don't know, whatever. But like the cuticle is kind of like picked at a little bit, and the finger's red, and it doesn't look like this polished like young actress's hand, but it just looks kind of like rough and stuff. And I really liked that small detail. The textures on the monsters looked so incredible. The set lighting was really good, particularly in the whole Red Room sequence throughout the hospital. I really liked the way that they utilized light there. color palettes throughout the film regarding like this late 60s vibe was really good. And overall, this film was just really pleasing to watch. The standout star for me in this film was Austin Zajur, don't know how to say that, who plays Chuck. To me, he was the most believable throughout the film. He is pretty consistently terrified, which is how all of the kids should have been. I don't know how they were so calm, but it's like scary ass monsters are killing your friends off, and Stella's like all calm, wanting to solve a mystery about Sarah and all this stuff, and he's just kind of tripping balls the whole time. So I really appreciated that. Felt very honest, but while he resonates as very real, he also was able to maintain being sort of a comic relief throughout the film. But to get to the dirt, I do have a conspiracy about this film, and just hear me out and let me know your thoughts. This film is actually a commentary on the current political state of America. So if you want to hear my theories on that, you can check out the link to that video in the description below, because I have some thoughts about maybe what they were trying to do with this movie. Overall, I enjoyed watching this film, and if you have any nostalgia towards the Scary Stories books, like I definitely did, I think it's worth a watch. They do leave the ending of the film open for a sequel potentially, so if they do a part 2, I really hope that they utilize more content from the actual books. Thanks so much for watching this video. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is now in theaters, and if you like this video, you can subscribe, or you don't have to. I'm okay with whatever you want to do. That's fine, okay.